first, I didn't believe it.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Patel Pick and Roll Sports Grassroots Basketball Exposure Show. I'm your host, Shivam Patel, coming to you live from San Antonio, Texas. And this is a brand new show powered by Patel Pick and Roll Sports, where we'll be highlighting different teams and different programs in the AAU basketball circuit. And in this debut episode 1, we're going to be highlighting Hines D1 Elite. They're based out of Killeen, Texas. They have such talented players, talented coaches. They're such a great program, and in this episode, we're going to be talking all about them. We're going to be highlighting their players, their coaches, giving you a feel for their program. Again, they're out of Killeen, Texas, and joining me right now is the head man, Coach Hines. He's the director of Hines D1 Elite. And it's also the head coach of their 2024 team. So Coach Hines is going to be joining me right now, and we're very excited to welcome him again on this debut episode. So Coach Hines, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. Great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on, Coach Hines. So again, he is the program director and head coach of Hines D1 Elite based out of Killeen, Texas. So Coach Hines, for those who have not heard about your program, describe your program for us.
Okay, I'm going to start with our mission statement of the program. And the mission statement of the program is to educate and empower student athletes by providing them leadership, discipline, and mentorship. That's the bedrock of our program. I'm in the military. My assistant coach is in the military. Matter of fact, all our coaches in the program either been in the military or currently serving in the military. So we try to bring that leadership, discipline, and mentorship to the program.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you for your service, Coach Hines, and thank you to all the other coaches' service, for serving in our military. So also one of the pillars of your program is development of your players, not just as basketball players, but as people. Kind of talk about that, Coach Hines, because not a lot of programs focus on the development and personal growth of the players outside of the court and their skills.
Yes, being a collegiate athlete myself, nowadays a lot of the programs just focus more on wins and losses. So when I started our program, I wanted to be more about wins and losses because I seen, whether it was recreation or any type of school ball, again, the kids wasn't developed. So when I started the program, that was one of the priorities: develop, develop, develop. So when they get an opportunity and be on the right platform, that won't be an issue. They should be able to perform with their talent at that time and hopefully put them in a better situation.
That's great to hear. And you guys are doing things the right way. You're an up and coming program. It's going to be creating waves in the AAU basketball circuits. Again, Hines D1 Elite. And also, Coach Hines, I wanted to talk to you about, you guys are from Killeen, Texas, a small town. So talk about that, coming from a small town and representing your small town and the players, talented players that are in Killeen, Texas.
Yes, well, we're a small town outside looking in, but we actually are a big town. When you start talking about over 100,000 soldiers and their families, now you're talking about a large number of people here in this area. So I always say Killeen is the best kept secret when it comes to hidden talent. We get overlooked a lot just because they think it's small until they get in here and start looking at the numbers and the ratio and the turnover of, like I say, soldiers and their families. It's a lot of people here in Killeen. So at the end of the day, we get overlooked, and that's why we're trying to get you guys to get us some exposure so we are able to get seen just outside of Killeen.
Of course, Coach Hines. And at the beginning, we showed the team mixtape of Coach Hines' 2024 boys team. So, Coach, kind of describe that team to us. Describe the style of play, just overall as a team. What is your identity for that 2024 boys team?
With this 2024 boys team, it's a little bit different than our team we had last year. The team we had last year put up a 29-3 record. That team was tough defensively, and we was able to score a lot of points. But this team that we have this year, they more of an offensive team, even though our focus and our primary, we try to preach defense, defense, defense. So at the end of the day, with this team, we have a lot of versatile players that love to put up points. But once they buy in on the defensive end, we will be one of the best teams, not only in the state, but also in the nation.
Oh, for sure. And you're going to be able to learn more again, like I said, about the coaches and the players. We're going to be showing their interviews throughout, the show. Coach Hines is going to give us a little scouting report, a little bit about each of those players and the coaches. So
Yeah.
cannot wait, to hear about that, Coach Hines. And before we get to the interviews, let's kind of recap the summer circuit. So the summer circuit is coming to an end. The kids are going to go to school. So overall, Coach Hines, how do you think your team overall did in the summer circuit in all the tournaments?
Um, Overall, we did very well. They may not feel that way because the way I was on them, and again, it's an expectation with our program. We set the standard last year, so now
Mhm.
we can't let them perform below the standard. And I always preach about being consistent. If you look at the all-time greats that's in the NBA or any sport, you will find that they was consistent throughout the process of making it to the top. So that's one thing that we harp on, being consistent, being resilient, and again, of course, that development through the process. But overall, we did very well. They played up, I think, all the tournaments except for two or three. They
Mhm.
played actually 2024. So again, they're not gonna understand until they get back to their school ball how much a difference that made for them playing up and competing at a high level. And now you're getting back to your peer group in school. So I think we did very well, and they'll reap the benefits when school ball starts.
Yeah, for sure. And Coach Hines, what is the biggest lesson that your team learned from the summer circuit? Because there's always something to take away, always something to learn. So what is the biggest lesson that you want these kids to take away going transitioning from that summer circuit to now playing for their individual high school teams, coach?
Well, what they take away, and what we try to drive home is if you work on your game individually, and once you bring that to the team, now the team looks good as a group.
Mhm.
So the takeaway for them is playing unselfish because they all good players individually in their own right. But now you got to understand it's not about you once you become a team. All
Mhm.
right. When you're working individually and you're doing individual skill training, that's all about you. That's the time to be selfish. But once you bring it to the team, now you got to know how to be unselfish, put everybody in different positions on the court to help the team and also to help themselves. Because when the scouts are looking at them, they'll know that, hey, this is a team player and not individual.
Right, great stuff, for sure. And well, another thing, coach. So now they're going to their high school team. So what is now your job, and what does Hines D1 Elite now do now that they're going to be playing for their high school team before they get back to the summer circuit?
Well, what we'll do in our position, what we do is focus on skills training. For those that are not playing football, the girls that's not playing volleyball or cross country, running as far as track and all that good stuff. For the ones that's available, we'll continue to do skills training.
Hmm.
And once they start to get into whatever sport they are in, I'm sorry, that they are in, then they go ahead and focus on that because school is the priority. But
Mhm.
only if you're not doing anything, you got to continue to train and continue to get better. So we just work on and focus on skills training, agility training, stuff like that, that's gonna make them better athletes.
Right. And coach, when a team wants to, join Heinz D1 Elite, what are you looking for in that kid? I know you guys preach academics, but like what are the qualities of that kid that that will be a great fit for your program?
For us is character. You got to have character and you got to be coachable. That's very big. Most of the time when these scouts are recruiting you, they are recruiting your character and
Hmm.
they're recruiting to see are you coachable. Okay, not just you, but your parents as well. They go back and dig into everything. When they about to do an investment into you, they don't just look at they look at everything surrounding you and what type of people you're hanging around and stuff like that. So character and also being coachable. When you're coming off the court, the coaches are watching how do you respond when the coach is digging into you.
Hmm.
Okay, are you listening to the coach? Are you giving them attitude? Are you walking off the court? And again, we're a disciplined team, so we preach that constantly. And when they do it in practice or they do it in the game, when we get to our practice, I emphasis on that, and then we'll do some type of running to remind them of, hey, this is not tolerated. It's non-negotiable for us. You got to have those traits, and that's what we look for. Definitely character and being a coachable kid.
And I love that. It's not just for basketball, coach. Those are habits for life. You're preparing them
Absolutely.
more after basketball life.
Yeah,
So that's a great thing. I love that you're instilling
yeah,
those traits early in those kids.
yeah.
So coach, now let's talk about your assistant coach, Coach Isaac. So kind
Okay.
of tell us a little bit about him, how you met him, and what value does he bring to your program and to your team?
Man, I can't thank him enough. He brings so much value to our program. Again, he's in the military. He's the first sergeant in the military. So being a first sergeant in the military, you're responsible for a lot of soldiers. Okay. So at the end of the day, when I first went to him, I asked him would he like to join our program, and he was like, no, because he got a son in the program. So then I just revert back like, hey, if you can deal with those soldiers that you're dealing with in the Army on a daily basis, then this here, won't be a problem for you.
Yes,
So
sir.
again, he came back to me after he thought about it, and again, he wasn't deploying anymore. So at that time, he told me, yeah, he'd be interested in coaching, and that's how we started. But he brings discipline, again, that leadership and that mentorship that we speaking about or we spoke about earlier in the program, and that's what you need. And again, these kids love it, and it's just gonna make them better people all around.
That's awesome, coach. It seems like all of your coaches and all the personnel in your program, they're like father figures. They do
Yeah,
things the right way and they're here
yeah,
for the right reasons, and it's all about the kids. So I
yeah.
love to hear that. And we're going to be showing the interview of Coach Isaac that we did in a previous tournament during the summer. So guys, let's
Okay.
enjoy and let's learn a little bit more about Coach Isaac and see what he has to say.
I coach the 2024 boys and 7th and 8th grade girls. My role is basically, to assist Coach Hines in whatever he needs. We've been coaching together approximately about 2 years. I got in coaching. Coach Hines gave me a great opportunity. With me being in the military, it was kind of time consuming, and the perfect time it came up. I wasn't deploying no more, so I asked Coach Hines, can I join the staff and decide to coach. The practice is very rare structure. We don't come to practice and just let the kids just run wild. We have it broken down. One day is defensive day, one day is offensive day. We mainly try to focus on defense, really. We preach defense, defense, defense. And before we actually get in our practice, we do about an hour to 45 minutes of skill training with our kids. Then we jump into our team activities. At the end of the day, it's not all about winning or losing. It's about continuing to develop your young men and women that you have in the program. All right? So, yes, after that tough loss, the guys, we sat them down, talked to them, got them back mentally prepared. We talked about being resilient. Players came out, and they responded well to it. Even though we lost a tough game, came back, played well, and some of the players ended up getting hurt during that last game. But guess what? We kept fighting, ended up winning the game, I think, by 15 to 20 points. The girls program, the girls actually doing outstanding. I'm actually proud of the girls. Them young ladies, they came out, they competed every day. And most of the young ladies that's within the program this year, they first year playing basketball. And I can't be more proud than what I've seen on the court. To watch them grow and become the players they become artists today, hey, that's outstanding. I'm going to say one thing, hey, Hines D1 Elite, we're going to be here, we're going to keep pushing, we're going to keep developing young men and women, and our ultimate goal is to hopefully get them a scholarship to play at the next level, whether it's D1, D2, D3, NAIA. Goal is to continue to push these young men and women.
All right, that was Coach Isaac. So I hope everybody enjoyed that interview, getting to know a little bit more about him and his thoughts, about the program. So Coach Hines, Coach Isaac said something I think very important: structure. So that structure that you learned in the military, kind of explain how you implemented that with the kids. He was talking about the practices. You guys don't let the kids just mess around. The practices are very structured. So kind of
Yeah.
talk about the structure in your program, Coach Hines.
Well, the structure comes from me and him. When we correlated with being in the military, from the time you join basic training, for the time you wake up till you go to sleep, every minute, every hour is calculated throughout the day. Okay, what time you go to lunch? What time you gonna do the next training? What time you gonna do the next exercise? Everything is calculated down to the last minute till you go to sleep. So for me, when I started the program, that's something I wanted to implement in our program. Also, it's like that in college. Okay, like I said, I played collegiately, so everything is broken down to the T at the collegiate level as well. So when I went in, we always do our practice plans like a day before or 2 days before. We do a review with the coaches, and then we decide on what's the focus point for that day or that week, and then we do our practice plan, and then when we go into practice, everything is calculated. So when we get into practice, we have our little talk for about 5 minutes. From there, we'll go into whatever the first drill is, whether it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. After that, we go into the next session. Like, we don't waste time. Everything that we're doing is like I said, it's effective and it's value added to the kids. Okay, because you're teaching them time is the essence. You can't just go in there and mess around. And all of a sudden, game time come, you're trying to turn it on. It don't work that way. So at the end of the day, we do a structured practice. And again, at first the kids, it's tough for them because they're trying to learn because they're not used to that. But then we get them in line. Once we get them in line, practice becomes so easy and it goes so quickly, and every minute counts. So we definitely do structured practices.
I love to hear that. And definitely that discipline and that structure, it translates on the court, ladies and gentlemen. You just see the way that, Heinz Elite plays, Heinz D1 Elite, I should say. They're just playing more disciplined than the other team, and it just shows. And that's why they're able to be as successful as they are. They're just getting started. They're definitely on the come up, and they're definitely, going to do great things in the future. So now, Coach Hines, let's talk about your players a little bit. Let's get the audience to get to know your players. Very talented players, all from Killeen, Texas. So the first player we're going to be talking about is Ravion Starling, and to get to know a little bit more about him and his thoughts of making the 16U USA basketball team. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy. All right, we have Ravion Starling here from Heinz Elite. So Ravion, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Well, good. So first, let's get to know you as a player. So what class are you in, and what school do you go to?
I'm class of 2024, attending Shoemaker High School.
Okay, and what are your strengths as a player, Ravion, and what position do you play?
I play shooting guard and small forward. My strengths is my creativity on the ball. I can make anything happen. Whether it's shooting, passing, finding my teammates open shots.
Okay, so you're an all-around player, it sounds like.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first of all, talk us through like all the work that you've put in over the years, the long nights, early mornings, all those countless hours in the gym when you could be instead, having fun. So talk about the dedication that you have, Ravion, to the game of basketball.
Man, it's a grind. You're gonna see who really wants it, who really put in the time on and off season. And it's gonna show.
Yeah, for sure. And let's talk about your team, Heinz Elite. So for those who have not seen you guys play, what is your identity as a team, Ravion?
Well, we're out of Killeen, Texas. We're trying to put our city on the map.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been knowing my guys for a few years now. We decided to come together and start our own thing, not going to somebody else's team in Waco or Dallas, but
Yeah.
really try to put our city on the map because there's a lot of talent here.
Yeah, no, for sure. And what about your style of play? What's your team's style of play, Ravion?
My team style plays really play together as a team. Move the ball, share the ball, and everybody gonna get a taste.
Hey, that's awesome. It's the right way to play basketball, for sure. So talk about the bond that you have with your teammates, because you kind of like talked about it already. You've known them for a long time. You're really trying to put Killeen in the map, Central Texas on the map. So describe the bond that you have with your teammates?
And I love my city. I love my guys. Yeah, no, I would rather be playing with anybody else.
Yeah.
Those are my go-to guys. I love them.
Okay. And what about Coach Hines? Describe him as a coach and the connection that you have with Coach Hines.
Yeah, Coach Hines is nobody I'd rather have coaching me. I relate to him so much. It's just when he speaks, I understand it.
Yeah. And then also let's talk about the AAU circuit. So kind of recap, as the summer is kind of coming to an end, you guys are getting ready to go back to school, Ravion. How do you think you guys played collectively as a team, this overall summer circuit, and how have you played individually, Ravion?
Well, we've all gotten closer. This year was about building chemistry because this is the first time I'm playing with my guys this year. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot of new things about each other and how I played. Really, just trying to figure out where I fit in on the team. I think I did that this year.
Okay.
Figuring out where I fit in.
Yeah. And what NBA players do you look up to, Ravion?
Man, that's a tough question. If I had to say one, my favorite player would be James Harden.
Okay. Yeah, that's a solid choice. That he's a great player, for sure. And what about the practices? How competitive are those practices? How intense are they?
Man, sometimes we don't even want to leave the gym. It's just going back and forth at each other, and it gets so fun. It's so competitive.
Yeah.
It's just fun. You just going out like that. It's just fun. That's all I can describe.
Oh, that's awesome. And you're currently right now in Dallas playing your last tournament of the circuit. You have some games tomorrow, Ravion. So how do you think your team played today, like collectively, and how did you play today?
We we played good. We played good. A lot of playing our style of basketball. It got away from us in the second game, but we'll, we
Yeah, and what about you? You individually.
I I try to play within the team, within our system.
Okay.
We try not to try to get out our system. When we go by the system, everything works. It
Yeah,
works.
that's for sure. And what does your team need to do tomorrow in order to get the wins?
Lock in on the defensive end. That's
Okay.
where all I'm coming from. Fast break, get in transition, and outrun the other team.
Simple as that. And also, you've been selected to the USA Under 16 Elite Team, which is a major accomplishment. That's awesome. So describe when you heard that news, Ravion. What was your feeling and how excited are you to be part of this team?
At first, I didn't believe it when my parents had told me got through with my parents. And at first, I didn't believe it. I thought it was just something they heard. And then my coach started talking about my high school coach, my AAU coach. And man, it all just like a day later, it all just hit me like this is what hard work pays off. It's not done yet. It's not done yet. It's a long road, but this is the step going forward. That's how I got to take it.
Yeah, you're humble and you're never satisfied, Ravion. I could tell that from your personality, for sure. And what are your future goals?
I wanna play in the NBA definitely. That's something I wanna have my little brother, and my little siblings look at me on the big screen.
That's awesome. And last one for you, Ravion. So now you're transitioning from the summer circuit to now going back to your high school team. So what's your mindset now going to play in high school with your team? Like what are you going to be focusing on specifically before you get back to the summer circuit?
Focusing on getting better, taking it one day at a time. Because it's gonna be a long season, so just get better 1% better every day. That's the goal.
Well, you hear it. He's a very focused, determined young man. Thank you very much, Ravion, for your time.
No.
All right, so we are back. With Coach Hines here. Thank you to Ravion Starling. We had a great interview with him. Got to hear his personal side, and then his game. So, Coach Hines, describe to Ravion both as a player and off the court, also as a person.
This is a very humble young man, very respectful off the court. Now, when he's on the court, it's a different story. He played like it's his last game. He has that intensity. He has he compete at a high level. Okay, he got that motor to play at the next level. At the end of the day, we call him D-Ray is what we call him. With D-Ray, what I want to see more of him is looking for other players on the court, and sharing the ball a little bit more. Okay. For an example, he put up 25 points one game up in Dallas, but he had 0 assists. So the conversation with him was, hey, the 25 points was good, but also you got to be able to put your teammates in position also to make sure they're able to, be a part of that 25 points that you're hitting. Okay, because you may not hit that point, and they may hit the point, but you still get some you benefit from that as well because you got an assist. Okay, so again, that's pretty much what he's trying to understand. Getting ready for his varsity season as a sophomore. Last year he played on the JV team as a freshman, and at the end of the day, he was a late add-on to our program. So we've been trying to get him for the last 3 years, and we finally got him. And some things he still has to learn because he hasn't been coached up the right way where he was at previously. And one of those is sharing the ball, with his teammates most of the time, and not all the time, and taking all the shots without distributing the ball as well.
Well, he has a very high ceiling, and he plays so hard, like Coach Hines says. He has such a great motor. He plays like 100 miles an hour the right way, and he plays the right way on both sides of the floor. And Coach Hines, tell us like how big of a deal it was when he was selected for the 16U USA team. That's such an incredible feat. What does that mean, for Ravion, going forward and being part of that USA Select program?
Well, that was big, not just for him, but that was big for the city of Killeen, period. Because we haven't
Mhm.
had anyone that I know of since I've been here the last 6 years to get that opportunity. And we do have a lot of great players in this area. But at the end of the day, for him to get selected, like you said, he didn't believe it at first. But then we started getting those official emails and letters, him and his parents, and then the head coach of the high school team, Coach Taylor over at Shoemaker. Then he started believing that it was real and start realizing that it was real. So at the end of the day, it was big for him, the city, and also for our organization, because that's the stuff we're trying to do with our organization. Put kids in situations, so they can get an opportunity to get seen and get heard, and all they got to do is go out there and perform. At that point, it's up to them at that point.
Right. So again, congratulations to Ravion for that selection, and he has a bright future, very high ceiling. Cannot wait to see all the great stuff that he does in the future.
Yes.
He's just now getting started. So Coach Hines, let's move on to another player. So James Peterson. So kind of just tell us a scouting report about James, and kind of give us a little bit of feel for him.
Okay, James been with the program about 2 or 3 years now. When James came over to our program, James was lacking confidence. He had the skill set, but he was lacking confidence. And also, where he was playing at in middle school, he wasn't the front runner on the team. He was basically coming off the bench and not playing a lot of minutes. However, I seen the talent that he had, and his father gave us an opportunity to join our program. And once he got in our program, again, we've been developing. And as he started to move up each year, and then got over to the high school, he was another guy that played JV as a freshman. So he's expected to play varsity this year as a sophomore. So with James, he's versatile with his size. He can handle the ball. He can go down low. Um, Again, he's one of those unique players that got the skill set to play at the next level. And again, for all of the kids, and I'm telling them, if they continue to get better every day, then again, the ceiling is the top that they can reach. And again, I'm just so excited because he got a lot of potential.
Yes, sir. And they're very hardworking kids. And let's hear more from James Peterson. So as we're going to be showing his interview, and me and Coach Hines will come back. So enjoy James's interview.
I play shooting guard and small forward. I like just playing basketball, and I don't know, just playing basketball.
Game.
I don't know. I just like shooting and just helping my teammates get open. So I just really like just playmaking all over.
Okay. So tell you what is your personal goal for just in general in terms of basketball, and then what do you want to also do in terms of like just going forward in your career?
Going to college just to play. Just play basketball. So that's what I just like to do.
Okay. What did you learn from this weekend? Spending here a couple of days, I think, yes, and playing multiple games. I know you guys had a tough game earlier today, but then, like I said, a bounce-back game. So tell us both from the loss and also the win at the end. What did you learn?
When we lost, I think we need to play like more defense and start more rebounding. And we got past the ball more. That's I think we lost the first game. And I think the second game, the bounce-back game, I think we did a little bit better. But it was not like we was playing like soft, like we was taking them for granted. So, yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about the program and the coaches you work with, and how it is practices, and how has it been your growth?
Practicing been straight. Before I used to play, like I used to sit the bench, and when I started playing for Hines, when they started like developing my game, I started getting like more seen by more people, and the coaches are really good too.
In terms of just where you want to improve your game, man, what would you say the area that you want to focus on improving?
Dribbling and rebounding.
So kind of talk about that and his areas of improvement and how he's really addressing those areas and attacking those areas.
Yes, James can play the 1 through the 4 position. Okay, meaning he can be your point guard. If you need him to slide over to be your shooting guard, he can slide because he shoot very well from behind the 3. Also, if you need him playing down low, mid-range, small forward, and also with his size, he can play the power forward, even though he's not as big as far as muscle or wideness. But at the end of the day, his skill set can allow him to drop down there if we need him to. But the work with him is, before practice or after practice, we'll put in, ball handling drills and stuff like that, and also shooting drills. I know we do a lot of shooting. We call it 5-spot shooting. You got to make 5 before you move to the next spot out of all the 5 spots on the floor, like the corner, the wing, the top of the free throw, and then the other wing and the other corner. That's 5 spots on the floor. So we'll do that for 2-pointers, and we'll do that for 3-pointers. So we get up a lot of shots, and that helps them be accurate on their shots when they take the shots during the game, because we try to make the practices and the drills harder than the actual game. So once the game happens, it becomes easy for them.
Right. And best of luck to James Peterson. Again, he is another high potential player with strong work ethic, and cannot wait to see what he does, in the future. So Coach, let's move on to now Lawrence Taylor. So kind of tell us about Lawrence a little bit, Coach.
I love Lawrence. Out of everybody on the team, Lawrence has improved the most. Okay. We're talking about a kid who barely played in middle school. Okay. Now, in today's society with social media and, the kids cracking jokes and this and that, it's hard for a kid to sit the bench for like 30 games almost, or 20 something games, and barely play and keep coming back the next day and the next day and the next day. That's what Lawrence did when he was in middle school. But the summer going into his freshman year, we played up a lot. Lawrence didn't complain about the minutes he was getting. He kept putting in the work, coming to practice, putting in the work. So he went into his freshman year and led the team in scoring. Okay. He also became a starter, and they actually Harker Heights High School, they went 10-0. Okay. They had the pandemic, so they didn't get to play a full schedule, but they went 10-0, undefeated in the district. And Lawrence was one of the leading scorers over there off that team. Okay. So at the end of the day, I'm so proud of Lawrence, because he had improved the most out of everybody on the roster that been with me for the last 3 years. Also, when Lawrence, he just keep putting in the work. He just keep grinding. And like I told him, what he did last year ain't gonna cut it this year. You got to keep pushing. Okay, so he's very coachable. He don't complain. He don't say nothing. He's very humble young man, very respectful. And those are the type of players that you want to coach.
Right. So now let's hear from Lawrence Taylor as we interviewed him, and we're going to play that interview clip right now. So enjoy. Let's hear from Lawrence Taylor.
Tell us a little bit more about your game. What are your strengths? What do you do well, skill-wise? And then also talk about what areas would you like to improve on?
I think I'm a very good defender on ball, and I think I'm very good at catching and shooting the ball. And I think I need to work on my off the ball, like on the dribble shooting, and my confidence.
So tell us a little bit about both games, and what do you guys think you can improve on, and then what are the areas you all do well in the second game?
I think we do well playing defense as a team, and I think we need to work on to not be selfish in our rebounding skills as a team.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself personally. What school you go to? What are your personal goals? But then also, what are your basketball goals as you move forward with your career?
I go to Harker Heights High School. I'm finna be a sophomore. I'm class of 2024. When I'm said and done with basketball, I want to play professionally. It doesn't matter if it's the NBA or overseas or anything. I just want to play professionally basketball.
Tell us a bit more about being part of the Hines Elite program.
It's a good experience. We have a good overall team and good coaching staff, so it's fun to play with this team.
All right, so that was Lawrence Taylor. So Coach, he talks about his on-the-ball defense. He really does a great job of really harassing the ball handler and making it really tough on them. He's able to get a lot of steals, a lot of deflections, and also his on-the-ball shooting. So talk about both of those strengths of Lawrence Taylor, of Coach Hines.
Again, where Lawrence started to where he is today, I'm telling you, he did a 360 completely. And again, he trusted the process and he stuck with it. Because nowadays, a lot of kids and parents, a lot of coaches or other programs will sell them dreams or sell them false hope. But we're an independent program. A lot of times they think because you're playing for a Adidas team or the EYBL team that they get more exposure, et cetera, but that's not the case. Now, it may have been like that years ago, but today, that's not the case. As an independent we get the same exposure they get. A lot of independence teams beat a lot of those big name teams down in the Peace Jam a couple months ago down in Atlanta. So at the end of the day, that's not necessarily true. But make a long story short, with Lawrence, again, he wants to get better. He comes to work every day. He never complained. Not 3 years he been with me, I never heard him complain, not one time. Now he may have complained to the guys maybe, but not to the coaches. I never heard him say anything out loud that I had to address with him. But one of the things he spoke about was his confidence. When I got him, he didn't have that confidence. And confidence is something you got to steady, got to keep having it. You can't have it one day, not have it the next. You got to have that confidence, or I call it that swagger. You got to have that swagger, even if you're not confident, but you got to act like you're confident. That'll help you go a long way, especially out there on the court. So at the end of the day, Lawrence is one of the kids that you want in the program, around you as you starting to develop kids and stuff like that.
I think that's so important. He's a great fit for your program, and he really embodies what your program is all about, in my opinion, Coach Hines. And really shows that on and off the court. So again, Lawrence, thank you very much. We hope you guys enjoyed that interview. And Lawrence, again, has a bright future going forward. So let's talk about another one of your players, Coach Hines, Isaac Hawthorne. So tell us about Isaac.
We watched Isaac when he was in the youth league. At that time, he was really an assassin on offense, and he would do you down on defense. He would play both ends of the floor. Now, when we first got him, somewhere down the road, he had lost his confidence on offense. So he became just a primary defender. So since he's been with us, we've been trying to get him to score a little bit more along with his defense. Because what happens is, the higher level you go, if you're not able to score, all they do is just back up off of you, and then they'll pack everything down and dare you to shoot the ball from the outside. He definitely can shoot it because we see him doing the practice and doing the drill. So I know he can shoot it. It's just getting him to be able to have that confidence and shoot it during the game and, to help the team out, because we need that from him. Because, again, he's a headhunter on defense, no doubt. He's definitely one of the top defensive players I've seen in this area in a long time. So.
Right. And before we show Isaac's interview, how do you get him? I know he's such a naturally great defender, but how does a kid that young of an age, how do you get them to buy into defense, Coach Hines? Because now it's all about scoring, all about offense, which is flashy. So how do you get the kids, especially Isaac, how did you get them to buy into defense?
You have to start them young at the grassroots. But most of the time in the household with the parents today, everybody want to score. Everybody want to be a scorer. The same thing I teach with my daughters. If you learn how to play defense early and you put that bulldog in them early, then it won't be a problem, as they keep going to the next level, as long as they keep working on their skill set. So at the end of the day, I think that came from his dad, Coach Isaac. Coach Isaac, taught him, very young of defense. So I think that's how that happened with him.
Right. And so now let's show the interview of Isaac, and he's going to be talking about his defensive skills, about Hines Elite, and much more. So let's roll the interview with Isaac Hawthorne.
I go to Shoemaker High School. I'm a point guard. I have to get my teammates involved.
How is it being part of this program and your experience playing in these tournaments?
It's fun with the program. We get pushed hard. It's not easy coaching around here. And then I like playing the tournament because it gives us tough competition, and it just helps us in the long run. I love my teammates. I like how we gel together, and then I also like my coaches.
Today, especially, what can you learn from both games?
From the game that we lost, we can learn that we gotta be more as a defensive team and box out on shots and get more loose balls. And then on the game we won today, we got to keep playing as a team because it's gonna result in more wins. We can learn more about taking better shots. We can also just trust one another.
What are some areas you want to improve on?
I just want to be a better facilitator, get more teammates involved, make everybody happy, and also I want to score more. If basketball don't work out, I want to be a dentist.
All right, that is Isaac Hawthorne. He definitely has the best hair game on Hines D1 Elite for sure. So Coach, he talks about how he's the point guard, the floor general. So how do you coach him up, like when he's reading the floor, how do you get him to differentiate when to be aggressive and when to find his own shot, but also when to facilitate and find his teammates, Coach. How do you find that balance with your floor general, your leader, Isaac Hawthorne?
Well, individually, we'll watch film. Now, we watch film as a team, and we'll do it individually for those that want the extra film study. Again, that's a lot of value in watching film because you get to see yourself. A lot of times the kids like, nah, I didn't do that, coach. I didn't do that. But then when you sit down with them and you show them on film, now you have a different story.
The film doesn't lie, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know our coach used to tell us in college every day, you know, the eye in the sky don't lie, because we used to film every practice, every game, and we would have film study every day. So at the end of the day, if you say you didn't do this, everybody gonna watch it in film study. And if it wasn't what you said it was, everybody's gonna be laughing at you because now the coach just proved that you was wrong. So at the end of the day, with him, we try to help him with that, to be a facilitator, when to speed up, when not, and when to attack, when not, by watching film study. Okay, and also when we're doing practice live, then of course we try to point those things out as well. But also Isaac is another sophomore or freshman who played on the JV team last year. So him, D-Ray, and James go to the same high school. Okay, and all three of them are expected to be on the varsity team this coming season. So by them playing together, you know, in the high competition that we've been playing, you know, playing up a grade 2023, that's going to help them tremendously once they get back to their school ball, and hopefully we'll be able to see the benefits of them playing up during this past summer.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, best of luck to Isaac going forward. And we can't wait to see what great things he's going to do, both in basketball and in life. I think it's really cool, Coach Hines, that he wants to be a dentist.
Yeah,
you know, something so definitely best of luck to Isaac Hawthorne. And again, before we move on, we just want to give a little shout out to Hines D1 Elite for this exposure show. They are on the debut of the Patel Pick and Roll Sports Grassroots Basketball Exposure Show. And you can find Hines D1 Elite on Facebook and on Instagram at Hines D1 Elite Sports. And also, Coach Hines, you make sure you go to their website at hinesd1elite.com. And this show is being powered by Patel Pick and Roll Sports. We cover all different types of grassroots basketball tournaments. And be sure to follow us on Instagram and on Facebook at Patel Pick and Roll Sports, and also subscribe to the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. Okay, Coach Hines, now let's move on to another one of your players, Marquise Cross. So tell us about Marquise.
Marquise is originally a football player. That's his first passion. However, he brings that same passion and physicality from the football field to the basketball court. He's really a good defender. He loves to play defense, and with him, we're just working more on his offense, because again, you got to be able to play both ends of the court to be really effective at the next level. You know, the higher you play, again, you're gonna have players just as good as you. You can't just be dominant defensively, but then you don't give us nothing offensively. So we're just trying to catch his offensive game up with his defense, but he's definitely one of the top defensive players on the team. It's either him or Isaac. Could be a toss-up. He plays so hard. So
Yep, and Marquise definitely brings that physicality to the team. He brings that edge. So let's hear from Marquise Cross as we interviewed him in a previous tournament. So Marquise, we'll let Marquise take it away.
I go to Shoemaker High School in Killeen, Texas, and I play the forward position. So I've been with Hines since I was in 6th grade, and he's like always just been pushing us to get us better. And I'm grateful for him because he's just been pushing us, making us better nonstop, get in the gym every day, put up shots every day, and he helped us with a lot of stuff, including not just basketball, but including life too.
What are your takeaways from both games, the first one and the second?
The first game, I think we just took the team for granted, and we were just out there just playing around, even though we should have been serious. It was just mental mistakes. And the second game, I think we did pretty good. We had fun. That's what it's all about.
What would you like to work on as a player? You know, your strengths, but then also what areas you're looking to improve?
I'm looking to improve my shooting ability. Like, many coaches told me that I'll be a really good player if I just shoot the ball and have confidence in myself. And
Yes, I think while we were on the sideline, we did hear a couple of times the coaches say, "Marquise, shoot." So right. So what is it going to take to get better with that?
Just have confidence in myself and have my teammates help me up and lift me up throughout this year, and I think I'll be fine.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about your goals going forward, your personal goals, life goals, basketball goals. Where do you see yourself growing into?
In the future, I'd like to be a two-star or two-sport, multi-sport athlete with football and basketball. But if that doesn't work out, I'd like to be a realtor agent, go to the realtor business, real estate.
All right, so that's another player, Marquise Cross, who's multi-talented. He plays both basketball and football. So, Coach, how do you, what's your mindset, when you have multi-sport athletes on your team? How are you able to flip on and off the switch from both sports, and how some of the skills you can use from football can translate to basketball? So, kind of talk about that, Coach.
Well, he's a defensive back in football. I also played football when I was in high school. I was a freshman on varsity as a ninth grader myself. So bringing that football over to basketball made it a whole lot easier when it comes to physicality, being aggressive on defense. Also on offense, going to the basket, not afraid to take a hit or try to draw a foul by jumping into the offensive player. So with Marquise, he got quick feet. He's able to move his hips. And I contribute that to being a defensive back when you're taking your drop steps, turning left, turning right, trying to get depth and all that. So it's similar to basketball because you got to be able to move your hips as the guard trying to turn you left and right, crossover back and forth, et cetera, et cetera. So I kind of correlate that to being a defensive back, and it works out for him, again, because you get a lot of steals, and he's very aggressive defensive.
Right, and Marquise has a bright future both in football and in basketball. So best of luck to Marquise going forward. All right, Coach, let's talk about your 7-footer now, Daniel. So tell us about Daniel, how he's able to use his size, in the paint, on the offensive end of the floor, defensive end of the floor, completely dominate for you and holding it down inside the paint, Coach.
Well, for Daniel's size, been 7 feet. He just turned 16 back in March.
Wow.
He got a bright future. He only been playing a year and a half. So he hasn't been playing basketball long. So once he starts to figure it out, it's going to be scary, okay? Because he really don't know how strong he is right now. So at the end of the day, for Daniel, he got a bright future. And like I asked him the other day, I'm like, hey, we done been in about 4 tournaments with you. How many 7-footers have you seen in any of those 4 tournaments? You know what he said? None. So that's what I'm trying to tell him. I'm saying, yo, you are unique with your height, and he got skills. He got great footwork, got soft hands around the basket. Again, he hadn't been playing long, so he's still trying to figure it out, and it's definitely trying to figure out the American way of playing basketball because he's from Nigeria.
Oh,
he's
cool.
from Nigeria. He hasn't been over here that long, so he's still trying to get accustomed to the American way of living. Coming from a different continent, the air is different, so he's still trying to figure that out. And then the foods that we eat and that he's putting in his body that he's not used to, all that's been contributed to his slow start. But you can see the bright spots in his game every now and then when he out there on the court. So we proud of him. When he come back next season, he definitely should be in rare form. So he'll leave us and go to Solid Rock Academy in Riverdale, Georgia. That's where he'll be going to school at, and then he'll return for Christmas break, spring break, and then next summer.
So Daniel definitely has a very bright future. He's just scratching the surface of what he's going to do. He's learning the game of basketball, and he has a very unique journey, and he's a very humble kid. He has a great smile. So let's hear from Daniel and his thoughts about, adjusting to basketball, learning to play the game and how he did in the tournament. So let's roll the tape of Daniel, the 7-footer.
Like he said, my name is Daniel. So I school in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm Solid Rock Academy. I'm a sophomore, and I'm a 7-foot player. I play center, and I'm really good at post moves.
All right. So what areas can you work on that you can in your game that you can get better at?
My shooting, because they say big man can't shoot, but I want to stand out and be able to shoot the ball. If I get the ball 3-point, boom, I mack it, I get it down. Then maybe some agility, explosion, stuff like that.
Unlike you guys had a loss at the first game, so tell a little bit about that first. What did you guys learn from that, and what areas you could have done better on that?
Well, the first game we took them for granted, like my other friend said. We didn't take it seriously. But the second game, we admit our loss and we try to step up. But the second game was more fun and all that.
What do you want to be as you get mature and grow?
Well, I want to enter the NBA to be able to help my family and other people around me, the coaches who helped me come up and stuff like that. So my own goal is to make the NBA.
How about in NBA? Who do you or college, even college or NBA? Who do you like or who do you model your game towards?
NBA, I have Joel Embiid. He's my favorite. And Kevin Durant. And Giannis, Giannis.
Yes, well, those are good. Those are good players that you can model your game. How is it being part of that program?
It was really good. The coach is really good. He has helped me a lot, gave me so many advices, gave me personal workouts, stuff like that. And the teammates, they're good too. They're really good teammates. Like, I haven't played with so nice people, so much nice people before, unlike in Nigeria where I came from. So it's really good.
All right, I love the comparisons, by the way. Daniel, the players that he looks up to: Joel Embiid, Giannis, Kevin Durant, all great players, and he takes like different aspects of all their games, which is very unique. Coach Hines, and Daniel also said something very interesting, that he's trying to improve his shooting. So, Coach Hines, how are you going to balance, when Daniel is a 7-footer, dominating in the paint, using his size, but also allowing him to be like a stretch big? How are you going to balance that, Coach Hines, especially when Daniel's going to put in the work and improve his shot?
Well, I talk to the coaches down in Solid Rock Academy all the time. So, they check in on him to see how he's been doing since he's been with us. And one of the things that they're trying to do when he get back is not only develop his low post game, but his mid-range game. And be honest, he actually can shoot the ball very well. He just hadn't had the opportunity to show that during the games, but he can actually shoot the three very well. So, but like I told him to dominate. Hey, start down low, because again, you it's free chicken when you're around that basket. Like, it's too easy. Yeah. Drop step, lay it in there. You really want to go to the next level now, but as you starting to develop, we got to push you out, because you got to be able to play face up, because you may get somebody your size, your skill set. You got to be able to face them up and shoot the jump shot, the mid range, or shoot the three. So in the long term, that's what we're gonna look forward to. But again, he only been playing about a year and a half, so I'm telling you, that's very scary. Like you say, he's scratching the surface right now, but his footwork is unbelievable around the basket. Workout individually, oh man, I'm telling you, he's tough. And we got some highlights out there that we posted on our website and social media, Instagram and all that. But Daniel's going to be one heck of a ball player once he figure it out.
For sure. And Coach, you can just tell, like, yes, he's been playing basketball for only a year and a half, but you can tell like how developed he already looks, and he doesn't look like he's not been playing basketball for very long. So he has a very bright future. He's going to keep putting the work, just scratching the surface, and he has a unique journey. So he has all around everything, Coach. So there's a couple of players on your team that we didn't get to interview, Coach. So kind of talk about those other players that we did not get to see the interviews that are on your 2024 Hines team.
Okay, we have number 0. His name is Henry Sanchez. He go to Cove High School. With Henry Sanchez, he was the 6A newcomer of the year at Cove High School in the Killeen district, KISD district, and he's a big-time scorer. He shoot the 3 ball very well, and he has unlimited range. He's a good combo guard as well if you need to move him to the point position, but he's really a strong shooter. And at the end of the day, he had a good season with us this summer. The second player I want to talk about is Chris White. He's number 5 if you watch any of our videos. And he'll be a sophomore playing on varsity at Ellison High School. And Chris is a strong shooter as well. Him and Sanchez are the 2 best 3-point shooters on the team. They both got unlimited range. Chris got unlimited range. He's expected to play varsity this year. And we're looking for big things out of him during the season. Now, he did miss a couple of tournaments due to a knee injury, but he's recovering from that injury, and looking for big things from him throughout the season. All right, our next player we want to talk about is Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith being one of the longest players in the program. Him and Chris White been in our program around the same time. Them two been in our program the longest. Jeremiah Smith, he's a combo guard as well, can shoot the 3 very well. And he can run the 1. He goes to Memorial Christian Academy here in Killeen. He also won the state championship this past season in TCAF. And at the end of the day, he's been on varsity since the 8th grade. So he's been playing varsity as an 8th grader, and now he's be a sophomore this year. So I'm looking for big things from him to try to repeat as state champions in this season coming up at Memorial Christian Academy. I'm also assistant coach at Memorial Christian Academy for the varsity boys. So,
nice.
Yes, I've been there for 3 years. First year runner-up, Second year, we came in third, and then this past season, we finished #1 in the state, and we won the state title.
Wow,
So,
congrats.
yes, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And then the next player we'll talk about is Gregory Dumas. He's number 35. Gregory was a late addition add-on from Michigan. His dad is in the military, and they transferred in, and we picked him up, and he was a good addition to the squad. And I think he's going to be here a long term. So he's supposed to be attending Shoemaker High School, and it's a possibility he could be on the varsity along with 4 other those guys that go to Shoemaker High School. So they should have a really good team this year under the first-year coach, Coach Taylor, who's going to be taking over that program at Shoemaker. The last player I want to talk about is Marion Brown. He attended Westbrook High School out of Beaumont, Texas. He's 6'7", and he was a late addition add-on as well, but he'll be here full-time next season. And we're looking for big things out of him. He's also a dual sport superstar where he's a quarterback, and he's one of the top quarterbacks in the state of Texas, standing at 6'7", throwing that ball pretty well. So at the end of the day, all those guys are talented players, and we should hear big things from all those guys next season for their school ball.
Right. And you also talk about like the depth of your program. So talk about that, like, all the different players that you have, all the different, roles that they play in their different games. Talk about like the diversification of your program of all different personalities and all different types of players, Coach Hines.
Well, me being a guard myself, coming up out of in high school and in college, one thing about being a guard, you have to get everybody to gel on the same page, okay? And that's also the same way you have to do in the Army. All right, you got different personalities, you got different jobs, and you bring them together to complete the mission or to accomplish the mission. So with those guys having different personalities and different backgrounds, where they all are good individual players in their own right, and trying to get them to mesh on one team, on one accord, it's challenging. But at the end of the day, they all want to achieve success. So in order to achieve success, then you definitely got to be unselfish, got to play together as a team, and we harp on that all the time.
Well, they're under the tutelage of the right leaders of the program, you, Coach Sean, all the other leaders, and they have a great, role model, and they're looking up to the right people. So that's awesome, Coach Hines. So let's move on to their next section. So now let's transition to talk about your 7th grade team. So Coach Sean, I believe, coaches your 7th grade team. So tell us about Coach Sean, how you met him, and how he kind of coaches that 7th grade team, how he coaches the younger kids. Before we're going to show his interview after Coach Hines talks a little bit about Coach Sean.
I met Coach Sean when he brought his son Elijah out to the trials that we had for the 6th grade team at the time. And couldn't find out that he used to coach at one of the AAU programs in the area. So we was looking for additional coaches. So I approached him, asked him, did he want to coach? And he said, yeah, he wouldn't mind coaching as long as he don't miss his son's game. Then he wouldn't mind coaching. So I told him, well, he can coach his son, so that way he won't miss any games of his son playing. Okay, so that's what happened. That's how we got him into the program. But he's another one that brings a lot of value. Discipline. He was in the military as well. He's retired now. He brings that leadership and discipline. He's very knowledgeable. Man, I can't ask for a better coach than Coach Gibson to come in along with Coach Isaac, to help the program out in their respective positions. So that's how I met him.
Right. And the common word you hear, ladies and gentlemen, is discipline and leadership and structure. And that's what this Hines program is all about. That's something we really wanted to highlight and really wanted to focus on in the show. So let's show the interview of Coach Sean Gibson.
I was an athlete coming up, and I'm retired, military 20 years. I coached grown men in the Army from day one, coaching basketball, football, even soccer, just out there coaching. And when I got out of the Army, that's the first thing I wanted to do, get with kids. Started off with the YMCA and getting into it, and I like developing kids that want to play and hungry to learn the sport. It's been a great experience. Hines gave me the lead way to teach the boys how I want to teach them. He had confidence in me. He let me run the team like I want to run it. And it's just good teaching the boys and developing the kids. One of the things that changed my experience is when I got a chance to coach the girls team. Last year, my first time working with any young women that wanted to play basketball, and it taught me to not lean on athletes. I have to actually coach them and break down and see what they like to do individually. and see their passion, and that's just fun. That turned the corner for me, and that was maybe a year and a half ago, and it opened my eyes that, hey, I got to get in learning and teach more and learn more myself. My goals are to keep these kids together. I want them to grow together, learn together, have fun, and build a family with each other, and go up there. Elijah has a lot of talent, and I tell these kids, hey, get with them, grow with them, and he can pull you up, and you can also earn school scholarships. Can look at you, take it. Yes, I just love it. Any kids that want to come over here to Hines D1, I just want to teach and build them and grow and develop the kids and try to get them into schools. Any schools they want, develop, get into these schools and go from there. Yeah, I'm gonna continue on going. It's a passion, and I just love teaching. I love teaching and seeing the kids grow. And when they get that confidence in them, oh, I can play out here, it's just a light comes up in them, and it's just good to see that.
All right, thank you, Coach Sean. And you can really hear in his voice, Coach Hines, the passion, the love that he has for basketball, the love of teaching. So he's definitely in it the right way, and he loves and wants to develop these kids as much as possible. So again, thank you to Coach Sean. And let's talk about his son, Coach Hines, Elijah Gibson. So he's one of the younger players. I believe he's on the seventh grade team, but he's a very, very talented player and has a really bright future. So tell us about Elijah and a little bit about him as a player.
Well, Elijah, again, a very humble young man. Even though he's getting a lot of recognition at his age, he's very humble. You wouldn't even know that he was getting a lot of recognition for his age. Second thing is, we actually played Elijah up last year as a sixth grader on one of our JV teams. And we threw him out there just to see how he would react and see what he could do with his skill set. And he actually performed very well. So this year we played him up twice in 2 tournaments this year. And again, after the games, I always ask him to get the feel for him to see how, what was his experience like. And, one of the things he told me was, they're a little bit stronger. And, at that level, they're not calling the fouls that they would call at a 6th grade or 7th grade level. So they kind of let you, stay on them as they come into the basket. So that kind of affected him a little bit, to not to be able to dominate like he do at his age group. However, we still see him do big things out there, make big shots and all that. And it's only going to help him become a better player once he get to that next level. So Elijah, he's one of the top players in the state. Okay, he's one of the top players in the state. As a 7th grader, and they just now starting to hear about him. And at the end of the day, you got a chance to see him up close and personal this tournament. He's the real deal.
Oh, yeah, he is the real deal for sure. Such a great skill set, but very humble, as Coach Hines said. And he's next. He is on the come up for sure. He's a name you want to know, as well as all the other players on Hines D1 Elite. But let's hear from Elijah Gibson, again on the 7th grade team, but playing up. So let's hear from Elijah.
I'm a very nice guy. I'm a great teammate. I go to Union Grove Middle School, and in college basketball, I want to play for North Carolina.
So tell us a little bit more about your game, the style of game you play.
The style of game I play, it's hard. You got to be rough, tough, energy. You got to be a good scorer, defender. It's tough.
All right. So how long have you been part of the Hines Elite program? And tell us a little bit more about your experience playing for them.
I've been playing about 2 years now, and it's a really great organization. I love playing for them.
So tell us about, what did you learn? I heard you had a very high scoring game yesterday, and so about the games yesterday, and then tell us about today. What did you do well, and what areas you can improve on?
Man, the game yesterday, I was just feeling I was hot, just skill and practice, and then this time I wasn't that hot, but still got to work my teammates.
So what areas you think you can improve on still?
Probably shooting, attacking, and controlling the ball.
So I did get a chance to see you play here one of the last games here, I think towards the end, but I did see some nice passes. So tell us about that. What do you look for when you obviously scoring you want to improve, but in terms of passing, tell us a bit more about your passing game.
Man, I just look for an open man. If you're open, you got your hands up, I'm gonna hit you with it.
The position you play, a guard position, you got to work and make your teammates better. So tell us a bit more, how you want to do that?
Man, just spend time in the gym with them, working, trying to find out their game and what they like to do.
So thank you, Elijah. And Coach Hines, talk about, Elijah being such a high quality player, such a high caliber player who's a great scorer, but his unselfishness really sticks out to me. He just said, if you're open and you have your hands out, he's going to find you the ball. So talk about that unselfish trait with Elijah, because that's something you do not see a lot, Coach Hines, from a lot of kids these days, especially the star power that they have.
Yes, and as you heard throughout the interview, a lot of the players stated that we got to be unselfish, more unselfish. So that's hard to do, especially when you're a big time scorer like Elijah. Again, because everybody preach scoring, 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 but he's not just a scorer though. He can facilitate. He distribute the ball very well, like he said. If he open, he can pass the ball. So when you're watching him on the court, he's not one of those players you look at the score, but he's selfish or he thinks it's all about him. It's not like that with his game. He let it come to him. He don't really force too much. And at the end of the day, again, he definitely got what it takes. Man, it's gonna be some big stuff coming from Elijah for the next 4-5 years.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait to see his trajectory and his career. It's going to be amazing. So thank you, Elijah. And Coach Hines, now let's transition to your girls program. But first, I would like to talk about the players that are very close to Coach Hines, his twin daughters, Tori and Taylor Hines. And before we get Coach Hines' thoughts about his twin daughters and coaching them and everything, we're going to first show their interview. So let's roll the tape.
My name is Tori Hines. I'm going to Charles Patterson, and I'm in 6th grade.
Hi, my name is Taylor Hines. I go to Charles Patterson, and I'm in the 6th grade.
We play for Hines D1 Elite Ladies, for the Lady Elite. Okay, I play combo guard, which is 1 and 2, and I mostly shoot and take care of the ball.
How about you? I play combo guard, and I think I like defense more.
I've been very busy with basketball, so I really had nothing else to do, but it's entertaining because it's something I love to do.
Yeah, like she said, basketball is basically our whole summer. We train, then we do travel ball, and so summertime is just all about basketball.
Well, we both were invited to a basketball event, and we're very excited. We are getting prepared and still is.
So we're going to North Carolina, which is our hometown, and I'm very excited because I want to feel challenged. Some reason why I don't feel challenged in Texas.
My plan is to get in a very good college for like a scholarship, but also to keep my grades really good and just to make my parents happy and also to follow my career and for my future children.
Well, I want to go to the WNBA. Hopefully, I can work hard and get good grades to keep going to the next grade or next level. I just want to make my parents happy and proud, and then I just want to see them smile and come to my games and be happy for me.
All right. Thank you, Tori and Taylor Hines. They're very focused, determined young ladies taking after Coach Hines. So first of all, Coach Hines, how was it like coaching your daughters and having them in your program?
Coaching my daughters, I've been coaching them for a while now. So at this point, it's a challenge, but at the same time, they have adjusted. The only problem I have is sometimes they be wanting to call me dad and they want me to be dad. And I'm like, nah, I'm Coach Hines right now. We'll talk about this at the house when I'm dad at the house. So you have to, decipher between the two. You can't always be coach or dad. You got to play your part when it's that time to play the part. You know what I mean? You don't want to cheat them out of me just being coach, and not never dad. But you have to play a role. You got to be coach when it's coach, and then you got to be dad when it's dad. So sympathy and all that stuff. For me, they know what the expectations are. So I do hold them to a higher standard. So they understand that, and I coach them hard. So because I know that's what it's going to take as they start to move up to the next level. So.
Right. And also, Coach Hines, describe your daughters as players, because they were kind of describing themselves a little bit, but how would you describe them as a coach, as players?
Man, as players, defensively, they both got what it takes defensively. They both got a high motor. They both are aggressive. Um, they would definitely harass you on defense. They are headhunters on defense. Now, offensively, their games are different. Taylor, she's a left-hander, and she got the nice mid-range jump shot. Of course, she can get to the basket, but Tori is more of a facilitator, and she got the long range ball, which is the 3-pointer. She can shoot more accurately from the three than Taylor can. So
Mhm.
depending on what you need at the time in the game, if you're subbing either one of them for each other, depending on what you need on who I will put in there at that time. But hopefully, I try to keep them both on the court at the same time because they are both strong defensive players, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. So along with the other girls that are strong defensively, so now we got a strong 3 to 5 players on the court at one time. So and that's what you want in a team.
Right. And I'm sure as twins, they have such great chemistry. You can just tell, by the way that they interact with one another. How does that
Yeah.
chemistry take place on the court, Coach Hines? How do they complement one another on the court as twins?
Yeah, they definitely complement each other on the court, and again, especially defensively, because
Hmm.
on defense, the type of defense that we try to run, you have one of them on the ball, and you have the one that's on the ball forcing the other twin who's off the ball.
Hmm.
Can't do that without each other. So again, the chemistry is so good. They have the time whenever that happens, and it forces a lot of turnovers. And that's what we want on defense because we're a small team up front. I'm saying the backcourt. So what we try to do is get the steals to get out and run and get easy layups in
Hmm.
transition.
Awesome. And let's talk about your girls program, Coach Hines. What is the identity of your girls program? And describe the players to us because they're very talented, they're very strong players, and they all have very bright futures. So describe the girls program to us and then the players a little bit.
The foundation of the girls program this year was built off of 3 8th graders. Okay, we had
Mhm.
3 8th graders. The first 8th grader, her name is Nay Harris. Unfortunately for Nay, she tore her ACL during the middle of the season, and right now she's going through rehab, and she's ahead of the process doing the rehab right now. So hopefully she get back and she'll be stronger than ever. But she's one of the top combo guards in Central Texas. So again, unfortunately, we had to lose her, and by losing her, I end up having the next person, which is Zoe. She's also 8th grader, be going to Ellison High School, and she stepped up and became the leader of the team at that point. Um, After Zoe, we had Indigo, also who's a late addition. She also came in and she was behind because she hadn't played due to the COVID. But once she got the conditioning under her belt and all that, she started playing consistently for us and gave us that boost that we needed to turn that corner.
Okay. And also, how did the girls do, this summer? What is the biggest thing like, you learned, they learned about from the summer circuit and kind of recap the summer circuit for the girls program as they're now transitioning to getting back to school?
Well, this summer was a challenging summer for those young ladies, and they was resilient all summer long. Our first tournament in San Antonio, I think we went 2-2, or maybe
Mhm.
we went 1-3. I can't remember the record, but after that tournament, we realized that we had to go back and work more on skills training. Okay. At the end of the day, that tournament showed us we had to work on skills training. So we did skills training for a month before we went back out on the travel
Wow.
circuit. Once we went back out on the travel circuit, we was able to compete
Hmm.
and we started winning games. Okay. And all the games that we did lose, we was probably up in those games or we had opportunity to win those games and we end up losing those games for whatever reason during that time frame. So at the end of the day, those ladies play hard all summer, and we got several girls on that team that also been selected for the Hot 100 out of North Carolina,
Mm.
and also they just played in the girls next 100 that was here in Killeen last weekend showcase game. So at the end of the day, that team got a lot of talent that are seventh graders who will be eighth graders starting next week. So I'm looking forward to the fall league because we're going to do a fall league. So once they go through the fall league and they get back to their school ball, you should see a lot of development from last year to this year.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's an amazing accomplishment, for those awards. They're well deserving, very talented, players, and they're going to do great things in the future. And you kind of referenced it, Coach Hines, about the fall league. What are you most looking forward to in the fall league, and what are your goals in this fall in your girls' fall league?
All right, in the girls' fall league, we're looking for confidence, building confidence, so they can have that going into their school ball, and also development. So whatever they wasn't good at or was doing during the summer ball, we're focusing on that now doing fall league, and hopefully, like I said, once they get to their school ball, then that don't become an issue for them not able to do a certain skill because we worked on that all summer and now fall league prior to the school ball starts in October.
And how beneficial do you think it will help them, with this fall league? Because of course you're going to be doing their school teams, but how beneficial do you think it will be for them to get that, exposure and continue to play in that fall league and get that great competition, Coach Hines?
It's definitely going to be beneficial because at the end of the day, they played up all summer long. My daughters were sixth graders playing eighth grade basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you had those seventh graders who was playing one grade up because we was playing eighth grade basketball. So now during the fall league, we actually going to have them playing against their peers. So they'll be playing eighth grade girl level basketball. That's one grade up for my daughters, and everybody else, that's their peer group. So at the end of the day, we'll see how playing up one grade and two grades, how beneficial that would be during the fall league. And then again, that will carry over to their middle school ball, and they should be effective and impact their school team tremendously.
Right. And I want you to talk about, playing up because a lot of people don't understand that. What is the advantages of playing up and what do the players do you think learn from that experience or playing against, competition that they're a little bit bigger, they're a little bit taller, but how much valuable experience is that playing up? I want you to talk about that, Coach Hines.
It's a lot of advantages and it's a lot of disadvantages of playing up. So I don't always agree with playing up. I know a lot of people don't always agree with playing up, but again, if the kid is able to play up and impact the game and be effective on the court, then I agree with them playing up. Because if they just playing at they level and they just dominating their level but not getting pushed, sooner or later, when they play against their peers with somebody with the same skill set who's getting pushed and is more developed, then they're gonna have problems. So for me, if you're playing up, and long that you are effective, then I agree with it. For an example, my daughters were sixth graders, and I played them up with the, like I say, with the eighth grade at the eighth grade level. My daughters was able to affect games out there defensively and offensively. Okay. Now, did they have issues playing against bigger girls, faster girls? Sometimes they be like they can't get their shot off or get blocked or a pass get deflected. Yes. So now I'm telling them instead of going into the girls getting close to them, just pull up a little bit of steps out so they can't reach the shot and you can still be in your comfort zone and you still can shoot the shot. Or if you're making a pass, fake a pass, then make a pass. So
Right.
again, it's teaching them tools so when they actually get with their peer group, again, it should be too easy for them at that point. So that's the whole goal, So playing up and it do have its advantage and disadvantage for me. If they can affect the game, I would recommend that they play up because it's only going to hurt them and help them in the long run, and that's what you're looking for.
Exactly. And your daughters talk about, that defensive identity, that's where they really hang their hats on and that's where they really take pride in. How did you get them, Coach Hines, to get focused on the defensive end? Because kids nowadays now are all about offense, all about points. So how did you get them to buy into defense first and then getting onto the floor and then your offense is able to develop once your defense is already, firsthand?
Yeah, defense was easier to teach. So I made it fun with them when they first started out. And once they understood and got the fundamentals down of defense, I just let the athleticism take over at that point. And then as they start to grow and start to play more, they start to understand what it really means to play defense. Because I used to tell them, hey, let your defense become your offense. So they going out there playing that D and turning that ball over, getting the offense to turn the ball over. Now they're getting those easy transition layups. So at the end of the day, if you want to score a lot of points, hey, play some D, get them to turn the ball over, get out on the fast break, and you got easy points. So playing defense was easy. I taught them early because it was easier to teach than offense. So then after that, we started working more on offense, even though, we started out with defensive first, and most people go offense first, but we went defense because I know offense will get you on the court, but defense will keep you on the court, and that's what I try to preach to all the kids in our program from top to bottom. If you buy in on the defensive end with your offense, yeah, you'll get on the court, but defense will keep you on the court.
I'm so glad you said that. I cannot continue to emphasize that defense first, and that's what Hines D1 Elite really focuses on, the defensive principles. They teach things the right way and they do things the right way. So defense is very important. I'm very happy that you're able to teach these kids at a young age because that's an important lesson for their basketball growth and their basketball future. And Coach Hines, before we move on to the next segment, you have your fall league. So what are the dates for the fall league, and where can the people find more information about it?
All right, the fall league is it runs from September to October. We'll be joining the Magic Basketball Fall League. I think the Magics are out of Austin, and you can look them up online at Magic Basketball, and they got all the information updated there. They did push out the individual dates. However, I don't have that in front of me, but I know it runs from September to October, and all the games will be played on either Saturday or Sunday. So again, we get 8 additional games. We'll get a end of the season tournament, and again, then the girls will start with their school ball. So I'm looking forward to that because again, I know the work that these ladies has put in during the season, and now we're doing skills training every day or every other day. So we're getting ready for the fall league.
Yes, it's going to be big stuff. Be sure to check it out. And thank you very much, Coach Hines. But now let's move on. And we have a couple more questions for you. We appreciate you taking the time, first of all. I know you're with practice and stuff. You're a very busy man, so.
Yeah, no problem. This is very well-deserved, so I'm good.
Okay, perfect. So let's talk about the future of Hines D1 Elite, just the program in general, Coach Hines. What are your next steps? What are your future goals for your program?
All right, our future goals of the program is, again, to continue to develop the players that we have, add any pieces that can impact the teams that's already in place and the players that's already in place. And once we get that together, then to continue to develop, getting better and better. Like I said, not just on the court, but off the court. We're going to do a lot of community service. We got that set up right now as well, especially for those that's not tied into the schools with other sports, since school's about to start next week. Again, we just trying to just keep it moving on what we already got in place and just add to it to make it better, to enhance whatever it is that we are doing. We're just trying to enhance it. And at the end of the day, I'm really blessed to be in this situation and be the director of the program, along with my brother. He's not here, but me and him came up with the program together. He's the behind the scenes guy, and I'm pretty much the face of the program. But at the end of the day, we're heading in the right direction. We're looking for quality coaches. Any coaches out there that want to be a part of a program that's structured, disciplined, organized. Hey, come on out, contact me, and we'd definitely love to have you a part of this program and continue to build on what we got.
Yes, they're just getting started. They're only going to go up. They're headed in the right direction, and they have a very bright future, and they're doing things the right way. I think I cannot emphasize enough, and their skills and the habits that they're teaching these kids. Besides basketball, the basketball part, yes, we know how great basketball players, but it's more than basketball. That's really something that they emphasize, and something that I love, and something that we want to partner, with Hines D1 Elite. So, Coach Hines, what are some future events, some upcoming events that you have, for your program? I know you talked about the fall league. Tell us about the other events that, Hines Elite is going to be part of going forward this fall and even into next year, Coach.
Well, right now, what's up next is the fall league. Okay, the fall league will run from September to October. So those are for the middle school kids and below, because high school normally have their own fall leagues within the district. So we don't kind of mess with the girls or the boys during that time. We let the high schools take charge of them, because I always tell the parents, high school is primary. And the reason why they're the primary, because no matter what they do on the travel circuit, that college recruiter want them, they're going to call their coach in the high school after they get all the information from us. They going directly to the high school coaches, the counselors, the principals, et cetera, et cetera. So at the end of the day, high school is the primary. We are the secondary to try to give them opportunities if they're not getting it directly from the high school. Just kind of like the backup plan, basically. But at the end of the day, we always tell them if they got something going on with school, school is first with their sports. Okay. So, but at the end of the day, right now, fall league would be the primary. And then at that point, I go out and watch everybody during their season, support them and see how they doing, you know, give them a little critique here and there. If I see something while I'm there, I'll talk to them later on throughout the week. I never mess with them right after the game and nothing like that. I never try to undermine the coaches that they play for, nothing like that. I'm just there to observe and sit back and watch, and then I make the mental note that what I seen and what I didn't see, and then I pass that on to the parents to pass it on to them. And then after that, you know, we go right into you know, tryouts in March. If we do tryouts, if not, then we'll hand select our players for the season. And at the end of the day, that's pretty much what we got on our plate right now. So, but between now and then, if they're not involved in anything, skills training, skills training, skills training. That's the only way they can get better. Skills training, skills training, skills training.
Right. Hines is all about high D1 leads all about skills training, development, consistency. Those are so that's what they focused on, and that's what they're going to do, you know, going forward. So thank you very much, Coach Hines, for joining me in this exposure show. Again, the debut episode, and we were highlighting a Hines D1 Elite. So those of you that missed this episode, be sure to go back and check it out. We do all player interviews, of coaches interviews. Coach Hines gives us all the behind the scenes, everything about the program, what they stand for, all the future goals. Great stuff from them. Again, they're based out of Killeen, Texas, putting Killeen, Texas on the map, you know, for sure. A lot of great basketball talent there. So thank you so much, Coach Hines, for coming on the show and telling us about your program. We appreciate allowing us to, you know, to cover your program and to cover your kids and coaches.
Yes, sir. I want to give a big shout out to another player that plays on our team. His name is Joven Harrington. I didn't mention him because I wanted to save him to the end here to give a big thank you to him and his family. He's been in our program the last 2 to 3 years, and this was his last season with us. And at the end of the day, I appreciate everything that he's done, everything that the parents has done to help us move forward. And he's a very humble young man. He goes to Harker Heights High School, a very humble young man. And I'm looking for him to do big things this season at Harker Heights on the varsity team. And I wish him well. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, I want to thank you guys for giving us a platform to highlight our talent, not just here in Killeen, but also throughout Central Texas and also throughout the state of Texas. Because there's a lot of times Central Texas get overlooked with talent, and everybody thinks it's Dallas and Houston when that's not the case. Now, I'm from North Carolina, so again, I know talent when I see talent, but I do know Central Texas don't get the coverage that they should be getting with a lot of the talented kids throughout this area. So, and you know, from San Antonio to this way, again, you see a lot of talent there, but they don't really get talked about a lot. But you guys provide a platform that can allow us to get out there and beyond reach places that we can't reach. So at the end of the day, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. And again, I appreciate everything that you guys has provided for us so far. And I look forward to working with you guys in the future, doing bigger things in the future as well.
Yes, sir. This is the partnership that's going to last for a long time. Yes, this is the first of many. So thank you, Coach Hines, again, you know, for allowing us to, you know, cover your teams. And it was great to cover your teams and to learn a little bit more about you and your coaches and your players. So it was a great opportunity. We look forward to continuing this, you know, in the future. And before we let you go, Coach Hines, where can the audience find you, Hines D1 Elite? Where can they get more information about your program?
Okay, you can follow us on Facebook, which is www.facebook.com/Hines D1 Elite. You also can find us on Instagram at www.instagram.com/Hines D1 Elite Sports. And also our webpage, which is www.hinesd1elite.com.
All right, so you know where to find them, ladies and gentlemen. They're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and their website. Go check them out. They're a great program. They do things the right way, and they stand for the right things. Based out of Killeen, Texas, putting Killeen, Texas on the map. they're doing their fall league. So again, be sure to check that out and go to their website for more information. So Coach Hines, again, the program director and the head coach, thank you very much for your time. He's the face of the program. And thank you very much. And best of luck going forward, Coach Hines. Thank you.
Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate it, man. And I couldn't ask for no other company to do this interview with. And again, I'm looking forward to doing big things with you guys in the future.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And best of luck going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Yep. All right. Thank you to Coach Hines and Hines D1 Elite for this, coming on this show and telling us about their program. Again, this show is sponsored by or powered by Patel Pick and Roll Sports. We're a media and promotions company. We cover grassroots basketball all over the country. We want to highlight these kids, highlight these coaches, highlight these organizations. So that's what we're all about. We've been busy doing the summer circuit, going to different events, highlighting different kids, different programs. You can find all our content. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. We can see all our content from all the different tournaments that we've covered this summer. And be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Patel Pick and Roll Sports. So this is a new thing that we're doing. This is the Patel Pick and Roll Sports Grassroots Basketball Exposure Show. This was episode 1. And again, any other teams that are interested, and if you have any inquiries or want to learn more about what we do, be sure, feel free to DM us at Patel Pick and Roll Sports on Facebook and Instagram, and also go to our website at patelpickandrollsports.com. So thank you, everybody. Again, thank you for Hines and Coach and Hines D1 Elite for coming on, and then for your host, Shivam Patel, I'm going to be signing off. Have a good night, everybody.